I'm the Rising Voices Director at an organization called Global Voices. We're a network of writers, translators, academics, digital rights activists that are working to use the internet to build bridges. And today I'll be speaking about language digital activism and how language communities around the world. So for more than 3 decades, migrants from the indigenous community Aymara have been moving from their homelands in the remote areas of the Altiplano in Bolivia to El Alto, which is a city of around 1 million people. And as with most experiences with migration, the degree to which Aymara people hold onto their language and culture in their new surroundings is influenced by unanswered questions about acculturation and assimilation. So in 2007, I first learned of these experiences from university students in El Alto, who recounted how well-meaning parents often discourage their children from maintaining or learning their mother language of Aymara. Hoping for better educational or job prospects, they push their children to learn Spanish or even other languages like English. And at the same time, because of discrimination against migrant families, many young people refuse to speak Aymara in public. So that same year in 2007, I got together with 2 Bolivian bloggers to start the Bolivian Voices Project, which aimed to teach people how they could represent themselves online and on their own terms, using blogs, websites, and other internet-based tools. So during the first series of workshops, one university student came up to us and asked whether she could write her personal blog in the Aymara language. Naturally, the answer was yes. Each blog was a personal space for free expression, which also included choices about language. That student's Aymara language blog was likely the first of its kind in the Aymara language, and it opened the door for more people from El Alto to create and share digital content in their mother language. Out of those initial workshops, the students formed a group called Hakearu, which means voice of the people in Aymara. Bolivia has 36 official languages that are often referred to as Quechua, Aymara, Guarani, and the rest, and the others. Some colleagues in Oaxaca, Mexico, do similar kinds of work. We started to call it as digital activism. So we built a beta version of a web portal called Activismo Lenguas, which means language activism. In addition to the website, Global Voices helped co-organize a series of gatherings of digital activists in countries across Latin America, including Mexico, Peru, Bolivia, Colombia, Guatemala, and Chile. One digital activism workshop hosted by the Quichuashun group in Otavalo, Ecuador, was conducted entirely in the Quechua language. What might best characterize this digital activism is a do-it-yourself approach. Since those early days in 2007, 2009, we've seen an increase in the number of projects that are not only adopting digital tools, but they're also adapting them for their own self-determined needs. So for the last 6 years or so, we've been mapping examples of language digital activism across. So the first project is called Quimeltue, which is a project from Chile, utilizes illustrations to teach the Mapuche or Mapudungun language spoken in Chile and parts of Argentina. They make all of their material available under free licenses and encourage other teachers and students to download the content so they could continue learning. So this is another interesting project. It's in Guarani, Paraguay. It's a YouTube channel that provides Guarani language dubbing to clips of popular television shows and movies. This is a project from Nigeria called the Yoruba Names Project. It's an online documentation project that promotes the transfer of language and cultural resources in the Yoruba language of Nigeria. Hablemos Quechua, which is a project that means let's speak Quechua. It's a Twitter account. It was created out of a collaboration with native Quechua speakers and software developers in Peru. And the account has more than 11,000 followers. And it tweets out new phrases and words in the language every day. It's a project called Basa Bali, based in Indonesia, that's been working to promote the Balinese language through the maintenance of an online wiki. Radio Yuyum is an online radio station broadcasting from Yucatan, Mexico, that promotes the Maya Yucateco language as a way to strengthen the Mayan identity. This is an interesting tool called Storyweaver that allows speakers of indigenous languages to create electronics books by either uploading original material or also translating stories that are available in other languages and cultures. Our organization, Global Voices, also has a project that brings news from around the world. So many of these stories are then translated into one of 40 different languages, like Aymara. In Canada, there's many young people who are using social media to create awareness campaigns, encouraging others to use their language on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and uniting these postings with a common hashtag called Speak Gwich'in to Me. And then there's another group from the Gitsan community, which is in British Columbia. They started a Facebook group called Gitsan Got Talent. However, here the contest encourages participants to make a recording of themselves using the language. There are currently 4 official versions of Wikipedia in indigenous languages in Latin America: Nahuatl, Quechua, Aymara, and Guarani. So Rising Voices did a mapping research project to take a closer look at the opportunities and the challenges for these Wikipedia projects in native languages of Latin America. The Mozilla Foundation, which is the foundation that works with the Firefox web browser, as well as other platforms that are all available in open source formats, meaning that it allows anyone to translate or localize the software into their own language. There's a collective called Mozilla Nativo that provides technical support for these translators, helping to build community, encouraging more localization of these platforms. Previously, we did a Tweet in Your Mother Language campaign that attracted widespread participation as a way to encourage a linguistically diverse internet. And in 2017 and 2018, we helped organize a Mother Language Meme Challenge campaign. So each week, a different language activist or advocate became a host of the account. They would change the avatar picture to their own, and we would conduct a short interview with each one prior to their start, but let them, tell their own story and about the story of their language online. We have about 15,000 followers. We've done similar campaigns in North America with the United States and Canada with Native American and First Nations language activists. We've also done a similar campaign in Africa and also one in Asia as well. I'd like to maybe read some of their quotes so that you get a better sense of who some of these people are. Quechua, a speaker from Peru, he said that my activism is to claim the right we have to use our mother tongues in our countries. I dream that at some point my language will be used at the same level as Spanish in education at all levels, with respect and without discrimination to its speakers. Yasmin Novello, she's a Maya speaker from Mexico and involved with the Radio Yuyum project. I dream of being able to live in my language so that those who come after me can do so the same. Marco Martinez from Mexico, he speaks the Mije language. I dream that my language can be found in different spaces and that we are the same speakers who are interested in doing more activities in favor of our language. Margot Camones, she's from Peru, speaks Encash dialect of Quechua. I dream that in schools there are no longer excuses not to teach Quechua, that the authorities are truly Quechua and provide resources to promote research in native languages, and that there is a budget from public institutions to have information on web pages and other media about care for the language. And then finally from Guatemala, Miguel Angel Oclac, an internet in which, like Maya Cachiquel, I can develop a digital life in my own language, and that moving to another language or other languages is by my own decision and not by linguistic imposition. So a little bit about like moving forward, what are the next steps? I think one thing that is clear from our interactions with local networks of digital activists, again, that they're not waiting around for others to assume, what they feel like is their role to create content, but also teach others. But more often than not, digital activists, are not well represented at the table. Often because of their youth. Sometimes they're seen as too young to know any better, that they're just doing this for fun, but rather they don't see the deep understanding of the local context, the command of the language, and an understanding of digital technology. And so I think they're the perfect advocates for the language, and it can be a major part of an overall strategy. So it's a long-term process, but it needs to start somewhere and be inclusive. And I think indigenous language digital activism can be one place to begin. So many of you are aware that in 2019, the world celebrated the International Year of Indigenous Languages. This year-long awareness campaign managed by UNESCO sought to increase understanding, reconciliation, and international cooperation, creation of favorable conditions for knowledge sharing and dissemination of good practices with regards to indigenous languages, integration of indigenous languages into standard setting, empowerment through capacity building, and growth and development through elaboration of new knowledge. So Rising Voices was a civil society partner in this recent campaign, and we worked to draw attention to the work of digital activists. And because of that a little bit, Rising Voices will be working on on the production of a language digital activism toolkit that'll help build not a recipe, but rather kind of a roadmap for communities that wish to incorporate technology and the internet in their language promotion needs. So again, we're really excited to learn from you and to explore how we could support your efforts in promoting your languages and cultures online. This was kind of a really quick look at some of the work we do. I have 100 more examples to show, but I think I wanted to give you a taste of what can be possible and ways that communities can learn from one another. And that's what I think Rising Voices will hopefully help connect groups in the future. So thank you very much.